Tonight on News 5 Live, a consortium of NGOs writes to PM Presenia requesting a moratorium on all environmental impact assessments. The Gales Point Village Council meets tonight to respond to Vulcan's recent offer. And BTV hosts its 7th Digital Marketing Summit. These stories and more are coming up on News 5 Live.
Say hello to Digi TV. Step into the world of digital entertainment. Digi TV gives you access to 100+ channels on your TV or your mobile device at unbeatable prices. Take your shows with you wherever you go. It's a new level of freedom. Enjoy your favorite entertainment, sports, family, Latin, and local channels. No more fighting for the TV remote. You can access whenever you want from 2 devices at the same time. Digi TV is for everyone. And with the fastest fiber and mobile networks in the country, you are guaranteed to have the best experience ever. There's no installation required. Sign up for the Max package for only $40 monthly and get the first 2 months for just $30. For a limited time, get 50% off a Fire Stick when you sign up. Download the Digi TV app from the Android or Apple stores. Just WhatsApp us at 608-8888 to sign up. It's that easy. Watch, experience, enjoy Digi TV today.
Watch The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings of the First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. exclusively on Channel 5 Belize. The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings every Sunday at 8 a.m. on Channel 5 Belize.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new Smart Stream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, Smart Stream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy. Be like me and stream on the go with Smart Stream.
KTV.
Vote for your favorite KTV contestant by texting the number of votes followed by a space, then your contestant's number, and send it to Smart Code 5885. Here are this week's contestants.
Everybody wanna feel Irene, forget the troubles and rock with me. You know feel our reggae music sweet, yeah, yeah.
Oh, I wish nothing but the best for you too. Don't forget me, I beg, I remember.
Together, it brings us closer, closer to forever. And there is nothing I could say on my love.
Remember, voting ends on Sunday at midnight. And don't forget to tune in every Tuesday live only on 5.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times, and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Keep still now.
Ouch.
I tell you no move.
Man, you really can't get a mannequin for this, man? Really?
Well, son, if I never lend you the $2,000 to buy the kids' computer and the book, I may have the money for buy my mannequin.
It's definitely better to borrow from the bank than from your friends or relatives. This way, all you owe is money.
Would you like me to turn around?
That would be good. Turn on.
Take advantage of the back-to-school promotion currently being offered by the Belize Bank.
Reusable plastics. Did you know that until we find an alternative for plastic and all its uses, we will continue to need plastics, such as in the health sector? Plastic becomes a huge problem for Belize when it becomes waste and is improperly disposed of. When it is thrown on the side of the road and in our rivers and seas, it's eaten by animals and in turn by people, and it becomes an environmental and health issue. It costs us money for disposal, filling up dumps and landfills, and paying for associated healthcare. So what can you do? Choose to refuse single-use plastics is step 1. Step 2, instead, use the plastics that were meant to be reused, like coffee cups, water bottles, and food containers. We're not talking about buying a $1 bottle of water. I mean, you can, but how long will that last you? Reusable plastics keep plastics out of the environment for a much longer time and are even better than other forms of plastics like biodegradable or even compostable or bio-based plastics. By reusing, you are also saving money since you aren't rebuying the same thing over again. Think about it. How many bottles of water do you buy every week? How much does that cost compared to the cost of a reusable bottle? Imagine what you can do with the extra money. Click on the link below to see what you can do to help end the nightmare of single-use plastics. I'm Alison Castillo, and now you know.
Applying for a Social Security sickness benefit? Here's what you need to know. A complete claims package includes 1. Sickness claim form fully completed by the claimant and medical doctor. 2. Salaries record form completed by the employer or HR representative. 3. Proof of bank account such as bank book, online banking, or statement displaying your name and account number. To submit via email, you need to take a clear photo or scan of the documents and email to claims@socialsecurity.org.bz. Be sure to include your full name, social security number, and benefit type in the subject line of the email. Deadline to submit is 14 days from your first day of illness. All forms are available on the website at www.socialsecurity.org.bz. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
Optimist Club 501 Belize presents its first annual theatre and comedy production, One Hilarious Kixie Comedy Night. Returning back on stage in our jewel after 40 years, we bring to you Ray Gongara.
Trust me, you no want to miss this year.
Althea Leslie.
No Tory there, you know, but you got to come. You got to come get the Tory there.
And all the way from Jamaica for the first time in Belize, Owen Blacker Ellis.
I've been all over the Caribbean region and I have never been to Belize. Can you believe it? It is unbelievable.
Bliss Center for the Performing Arts comes alive for 2 nights only on Friday, August 26th and Saturday, August 27th. Showtime is at 8 p.m. Belize time. Early arrival is suggested. Come experience a great night of comedy and laughter hosted by William Neal. All proceeds from this event will be used to support the youths in Belize through projects sponsored by Optimist Club 501 Belize. Tickets can be purchased in Belize from Miss Darlene Gentle at 615-1601. Reserve tickets, $35 Belize. General tickets, $25 Belize. And local online streaming, $20 Belize. For international streaming tickets, contact Miss Bernadette Griggs at 858-442-4594 or Miss Vanessa Jenkins Young at 347-764-8123. Cost for international streaming is $20 US. Live streaming will be aired only on Friday, August 26th at 8 p.m. Belize time, and thereafter rebroadcasted on Sec9 live streaming for a limited time only. One hilarious Kicksy comedy night.
Make sure you get on the tickets.
Make sure you get on the ticket here. See you later.
Sponsored by Love FM, Belizean Dreams Resort, and Garifuna Flavor, a taste of Belize.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening. Welcome to News 5 Live for Friday, August 26th. I am Annalena Polonio. It's no secret that several of Belize's environmental regulations need to be updated. Potential investors have openly stated time and again that Belize's standards fall short of international ideals. The government has taken first steps to begin the amendments to those portions of our legislation that are ambiguous or unclear. But while that is being done, a group of non-government organizations has written to the Prime Minister formally requesting that all the ongoing environmental impact assessment process, including public consultations, be put on pause until these amendments are completed. The letter, signed by 12 conservation groups, states in part, quote, "Non-governmental organizations and civil society are extremely concerned by public statements made by potential investors that appear to assert that once an environmental impact assessment is allowed, environmental clearance must follow," end quote. Vice President of Oceania in Belize, Janelle Chanona, shared with News 5 that the NGOs believe that we all must collectively be certain of the decisions that we are going to make as a country and draw clear lines where projects are concerned.
If we're not making sure that we have the set of laws that will create the scenarios that we want, then really we're leading ourselves and others and investors down a path that we may not want to go down, and that at the end of the day they might have a justified reason to come and tell us, but I man, you make a feel like, this thing may going ahead, and we don't want to inadvertently or deliberately create a scenario where they feel that they were led along and led to believe certain things, if that is not the case. At the end of the day, the more clear our laws are, it's helpful to everyone involved, for the public to know exactly what means they have of engagement, how these processes are going to involve them, how these projects are going to hear their concerns and address them, and as well for the NGO community to make sure that we can know what's happening long in advance. I think all of us at some point have felt critical frustration that, we kind of find out about these things in the middle of the night, or because somebody knows somebody, or, all of a sudden there's a fire over here, and it's like, no, that it shouldn't be this surprise scenario of constantly holding our breath to figure out, well, what's gone ahead and what's been approved and what's been done and all of that. These are shared resources. We should have the opportunity to know exactly what's coming down the line, or what exactly is being considered before that is being done. And as we call out again in the letter, it's about making sure that we are planning holistically so that we can optimize our plans and to make sure that the development agenda is one that we want. With some of these decisions, it's to pace out the tube. You can't put it back in. So before we go along and create irreparable and irrevocable damage to ecosystems unnecessarily and end up with, just broken dreams. Let's figure out how we want to go, and what areas we want to protect as sacred, and what areas we want to sacrifice to sustainable development, and make sure that those goods and services are safeguarded as well.
The same group of NGOs also wrote to Alan Herrera in his capacity as principal consultant for the Port of Belize cruise tourism facility and cargo expansion proposed by Waterloo Investment Holdings Limited. That letter was copied to the Cabinet Secretary, Stuart Leslie, and to the Minister of Natural Resources, Deputy Prime Minister Cordell Hyde, Minister of the Blue Economy, Andre Perez, Minister of the Environment, Orlando Habet, and the Minister for Ports, Michelle Shibat. In it, the NGOs asked Herrera to clarify how the previous EIA differs from a new one that the company has submitted. Chinona shared their thoughts with us today.
We did feel that it would be very helpful to have them prepare a ease of reference matrix so that you can see one column to the next where they are defining that fundamental changes have been made. And I'll give you part of the reason for that is that, you know, we took a position in November 2020 to say that there is no scenario that we foresee that would ever justify dumping dredge spoils into the Caribbean Sea to the tune of 7.5 million cubic meters. And from what we've read, they're talking now about near shore dumping. But to be clear, offshore and near shore are both in the Caribbean Sea. It is not that close to land means on land or inland. It just means it's near the shore. And you cannot tell me that the water in front of the Bliss Institute is not the Caribbean Sea just because of its proximity to the shore. And you're talking about, I think now 1,200 acres that would be covered by this dredge spoil. And again, the science remains unchanged in terms of saying that wherever you dump that material, ultimately that material, the sediments from that material, and we are still not sure what all is the composition of that material, would end up on the Belize Barrier Reef system. So the point of the letter was really just to make sure that what we're reading is what they are meaning to convey.
A great portion of this week's news focused on Vulcan Materials Company and the proposed mining project about a mile away from Gales Point Manatee Village. Last weekend, Vulcan held consultations, that is, with the villagers. But while Vulcan spokesperson Jimmy Fleming said a lot of the people were interested in economic opportunities outwardly, the vast majority opposed the project. But since then, there have been a few updates. News 5's Marian Ali reports.
The Gales Point Village Council will meet tonight to respond to a letter that Vulcan Materials Company sent them earlier this week. Chairman of Gales Point, Jason Altshaft, told News 5 today that the council will write a letter that represents the pulse of the majority. Vulcan's letter to the council offers more jobs to collect additional samples from the testing site on the White Ridge Farms, where the company wants to conduct the mining activities. It informs that, as of this week, the next step for the company is to begin work. This means that there would be jobs for villagers who would receive twice the existing minimum wage for their labor. Those jobs had become available a year ago when the testing had first begun at the site. Through those economic opportunities, about 30 men were gainfully employed by the company to do manual labor. But when we spoke with one of those laborers following the consultation last Saturday, he revealed that even some of his co-workers had turned against the project.
We would drill in and get samples from the hill, and I was supervising that project there. At least 30 people was working, and everyone satisfied. But suddenly some people change.
The villagers explained that they are against the project because of the irreversible environmental impact that it will have, particularly on the plant and wildlife that cohabit the hills, that would be destroyed if the project is carried out. At least 24 conservation groups and concerned citizens have forwarded written objections against the project in the form of letters to the government. Supporting those letters is a research paper done by aquatic ecologist Dr. Ed Bowles. He believes that the project would also have damning environmental effects on the area, which sits adjacent to the Gales Point Wildlife Sanctuary, an ecological site that includes unexcavated Maya temples, creeks, caves, and lagoons. Senator Janelle Chanona, who is the Vice President for Oceania in Belize, has a few questions of her own about the project.
Do we want a mining port and a mining operation at that location? Is it a given that because they have bought private lands that there is this immediate, I don't want to say dictate, but because they want it, it will happen? I recall somebody saying once that because they owned an entire key, they wanted to create their own country. And we told them plain and straight, you know, that doesn't work. Here, you know, that was a very light, if you will, light-hearted response to that. But I do think it does correlate that, you know, no matter how the ownership about and who owns it, that this is still Belize, and collectively we all need to determine what happens where.
The U.S. Embassy, on behalf of Vulcan, last week reportedly requested a meeting between representatives of the company and the government. That meeting took place on Thursday, but CEO in the Ministry of Sustainable Development, Dr. Kenrick Williams, informed us today that there is no update following that discussion. The Ministry of Natural Resources, with responsibility for mining, has also come out strongly against the project and has indicated that Vulcan's exploration permit expires in November. But the verdict on whether Vulcan will or will not get approval for its project is still a ways off. The company has expressed its intent to purchase White Ridge Farms and to apply for an environmental impact assessment over the next 2 years. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
Prime Minister John Briceño is out of the country. He left today. A release from the government of Belize says he is on duty leave. In his absence, Cordell Hyde, the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Natural Resources, will act as Prime Minister. PM Briceño is scheduled to return on September 5th. Coming up, Reese Fitzgibbon is to stand trial for being a member of a gang.
Hello friends, this is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, And Laban said unto him, I pray thee, if I have found favor in thine eyes, tarry, for I have learned by experience that the Lord hath blessed me for thy sake. Jacob had deceived his father Isaac and robbed his brother Esau of the father's last blessing. Fleeing for his life, he goes to dwell with his uncle Laban in Haran. There he falls in love with Rachel and works 7 years for her, but is given her sister Leah instead. He then works another 7 years for Rachel. With the passing of time, Jacob's family grew, and though Laban had little when Jacob arrived, he has now become wealthy. However, Jacob has accumulated nothing. So Jacob asked permission from his uncle Laban to return to his homeland. Laban, encouraging him to stay, said, I have learned by experience that God has blessed me because of you being here. How encouraging to realize that God blesses us to be a blessing to others. Billionaire and philanthropist John Huntsman of Utah realized this, and on his 80th birthday made a gift of $120 million to the Huntsman Cancer Institute of the University of Utah that he had helped to establish to help in the treatment and eradication of cancer. Recently, my dear Hispanic friend Angelica shared with me the story of a doctor with whom she had worked. He had been so blessed by God and impressed by her life that he chose her young son to be a recipient of his blessings by paying for his education. If you want God to bless you, then realize that you have been born to be a blessing. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
My name is Dr. Marcelo Coy, and I'm an obstetrician and gynecologist at Belize Medical Associates. Pregnant women are at risk of getting infected with the COVID-19 virus and are at higher risk to develop severe complications and illnesses. The COVID-19 vaccine is safe to use during pregnancy. All pregnant women should get vaccinated to protect themselves and their newborn. Visit any vaccination site and get vaccinated.
Make your summer better. Over $35,000 in cash and prizes with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how you can enter for a chance to win. Purchase any device, sign up for a smart postpaid, broadband, or VoIP plan, use $50 or more regular prepaid credit, do a SIM swap, or text to the short code. You win 8946. And in the body of the message, enter the number of entries you would like to purchase. Each entry costs only 50 cents.
Don't waste any time. You can be the winner of weekly prizes starting July 1st. All methods give you more chances to win. Airline tickets, overnight stays at numerous resorts, cash prizes, gift certificates, and much, much more. One lucky person will win the grand prize of a $10,000 shopping spree courtesy Court and Smart.
Promotion ends September 16, 2022. So make your summer better by getting in the race to win with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Smart, bringing people together.
KTV.
Vote for your favorite KTV contestant by texting the number of votes followed by a space, then your contestant's number, and send it to Smart Code 5885. Here are this week's contestants.
Everybody wanna feel Irene. Forget the troubles and rock with me. You know feel our reggae music sweet. Yeah, yeah.
Ooh, I wish nothing but the best for you too. Don't forget me, I beg, I remember.
Together, it brings us closer, closer to forever. And there is nothing I could say on my mind.
Remember, voting ends on Sunday at midnight. And don't forget to tune in every Tuesday live only on 5.
After a rough week of school, Jake and his friends decide to treat themselves to frozen coffee. And since they don't have cash on them, they decide to use eCash. With eCash's geolocation feature, Jake can easily find the nearest coffee spot. With eCash's built-in option to split bills, Jake can pay the bill and his friends can reimburse their portion of the bill. Jake scans the merchant's code and confirms payment. Jake then views his transaction history and taps on the transaction recently made, then taps the split the bill button where he selects the evenly option to evenly split the bill. The application splits the bill automatically. His friends receive and accept the request. Geolocation and splitting the bill via eCash makes Jake enjoy his digital lifestyle.
"34-year-old Reese Fitzgibbon has been served with an 82-page disclosure for allegedly being a member of a gang. The Supal Street resident recently pleaded guilty to keeping a firearm and ammunition and is presently serving a 3-year sentence. In the lower court on Thursday evening, Fitzgibbon was served with the disclosure, despite being charged earlier this year for reportedly being a member of the Supal Street Bloods, otherwise known as the 4th Jenna Gang. His cousins Kevin Moto Alvarez and James Fitzgibbon are also accused of belonging to the same gang and are awaiting trial for that offense. Being a member of a gang is an offense which carries a fine of $3,500 or a prison term of 18 months. A trio of men, including 23-year-old Shamad Nunes, 18-year-old Azani Kalan Domingo, and 21-year-old Damian Saldano, appeared before the magistrate's court for the first time after they were arraigned individually for the murder of Benjamin Hyde Sr. on Father's Day. In courtroom 3, Nunes and Dominguez requested bail since they were only charged with conspiracy and not murder. They were informed that bail would not be granted to them at the magistrate's court and that they must do so at the Supreme Court with the assistance of an attorney. On June 19th, Hyde was riding a bicycle on King Street en route to his daughter's house, and upon reaching the intersection with East Canal, he was gunned down by someone who emerged from a nearby property. In court on Thursday, they were informed that the matter has been adjourned to October 3rd, 2022. Today at the Biltmore Plaza in Belize City, stakeholders within the tourism sector, as well as private sector businesses and NGOs, gathered for the 7th Digital Marketing Summit organized by the Belize Tourism Board. It started off as an event to build the capacity of tourism stakeholders and their online footprint, but has now expanded to include various sectors. The COVID-19 pandemic brought into sharp focus the benefits of having an online presence. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
It's an ever-changing world, so everybody wants to keep updated with social media, digital marketing, strategy, video marketing. Video is very huge right now, especially in this era, so everybody wants to keep updated. So our main goal is just to keep everyone updated, and at the end of the day, we want to increase the overall digital footprint for Belize as a country, as a destination.
The 7th Digital Marketing Summit included presentations by experts in all aspects of online marketing, from developing to maintaining an online presence, and most importantly, content. Among the presenters was Lebawit Lily Gurma from the travel industry news site Skiff. Founded in 2012, Skiff provides market research and marketing services to the travel industry.
Tourism has come back, and it's come back really ferociously. It's extremely competitive, and for Belize to really stand out, they have to embrace new ways of presenting the product. To really capture the audience these days, you have to be 100% creative, authentic, and you have to give people context, because it's all about what we call at Skiff the hyper-localization of travel. Travelers want to be fully immersed. They want what's real. They want to connect emotionally. And that's the future. The tourism industry's future is to connect with people on a more emotional level after the last 2 years.
Also speaking at today's summit was Google's Senior Account Manager, Shamara Valdez Rubio. She says that the research shows that travelers have been looking up Belize, and they want to immerse in the country's cultural diversity by looking for that authentic experience.
How important shopping locally has become for consumers, and so when we're thinking about the travel industry, like how do we make sure that we're, if you're a family-owned business, if you offer unique local cultural experiences, like that's what people are searching for nowadays. And so like, how do we make sure that we're communicating that to people? I was sharing data on searches for trends in Belize from the US and from Europe, both which have grown, and it indicates that the traffic will remain steady. But it's also about so the growth is there, the search is there, how do we capture it? So I think that's where there's opportunity for us. Local travel in Belize, things to do in Belize is what I found in my searches. But again, I think the local aspect is what is starting to be highlighted more.
You've seen the Belican ads that capture authentic Belizean experiences while enjoying a cool, refreshing beer. It's what you do and how you do it that leaves a lasting impression on a client, be that a traveler or a customer.
My main point is for these marketers and these storytellers to be authentic. That's what we base our stories on with Belican, authenticity, being real, being Belizean. And personally, that's what I like to base my stories on as well. We all have our own stories, we all live our own life, but it's your story, so it's authentic.
And for those who are still hesitant about the various social media platforms such as TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, Ashley Harden-Jones from Zimmerman Agency says that the COVID pandemic saw the birth of a large number of online businesses.
You have Instagram, you have Facebook, you have TikTok, you have all those platforms. So find one and choose one and figure out which one works best for you. But it's definitely important to have that social media presence just because that's where everyone is now. Everyone's gravitating towards digital. It's easier to access. They don't have to read a lot. Websites are still extremely important, but you want to have that extra piece for those people who are on that platform and just being able to expand your reach.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
After the break, Caribbean Shrimp Company is awarded International Aquaculture Stewardship Council certification.
Great Belize Productions Channel 5
proud winner of 9 Caribbean Media Awards for 2021. Best Investigative Report, Best News Item, Best Coverage of People with Disabilities, Best Financial Literacy Journalism, Best Videographer, Best Television Commercial Spot, and the People's Choice Award, with 2 special mentions for financial literacy journalism.
The Belize International Music and Food Festival took place on July 30th and 31st, 2022 at the Sacachispas Field in San Pedro. During the 2 nights, La Isla Bonita came alive with music, energetic performances, and Belize's kaleidoscopic cuisine. Combining international and national performances, the festival brought together 15 well-known and up-and-coming local artists alongside 12 international artists. Local artists had the opportunity to develop their skills and elevate their performances and open the festival on both nights. To kickstart the event was the food festival with 21 vendors from San Pedro, Keycaulker, Orange Walk, and Belize City. Attendees enjoyed an assortment of traditional local cuisine, street food, seafood, natural juices, and mixed drinks. As the sun set, the night became alive with vibrant performances ranging from reggae, Afrobeats, dancehall, soca, punta, to Latin. The 2-day festival was held to close in the gap between Belize's high and low tourism seasons. PGIA arrivals, which bring 90% of tourism traffic into Belize, increased by over 20% in July during the weekend of the festival. That represented over 50% an increase versus last year's visitors. As envisioned, the festival fueled economic activity on the island. Close to 9,000 persons attended the concert, with around 7,000 estimated visitors to San Pedro between July 28th to the 31st alone. Close to $5.4 million was pumped into the island community during the festival, with transportation, hotels, golf cart rentals, and other establishments, big and small, benefiting from this trickling down effect.
From the preparation to the whole festival itself, it was just a great experience. A lot of businesses as well were able to benefit from this music and food festival, and the exposure was just simply amazing. For that weekend, I believe everybody was able to make their money and just have an experience of their own to see what a festival is like. I mean, Belize never actually had an international, like a huge festival like that apart from the Costa Maya. It wasn't something that we were able to experience, and I think we should continue that.
The Belize Music and Food Festival positively impacted San Pedro Express. It was definitely an increase. We noticed early purchases of tickets heading over to San Pedro, and over the weekend, the 29th and 31st, there was a significant increase in traffic here. Typically, we wouldn't see locals traveling during this whole season over to San Pedro, so the Belize Music Festival really did create an economic boost for us.
The business was very, very good because there were a lot of people here on the island, and we rent all of our golf carts and the gift shop. We had people coming in, so that was very good again. And I thank BTB for that festival they did here in San Pedro. Good, great.
The overall experience on the island, I believe it was a complete success. Our resort was sold out. Many of the establishments in town and resorts were pretty much packed. It was an overwhelming, really busy during the time that it's normally always really slow.
As a resort, we would definitely, we look forward to it next year. And I believe everyone also in San Pedro or wherever it will be hosted again, so it was positive, and I believe that it should continue.
The Belize Food and Music Festival affected my business in such a way that I now have more customers from out district. It was a success, I must say. I was very privileged to be there, and it was a good turnout sales-wise and well for my staff, because they all made a little extra, so we all won something.
Our experience at the food festival was amazing. There was a tremendous, huge crowd out there that our staff managed to handle. At the end of the day, it was successful and it was worth it.
My experience at the food festival was a fantastic evening full of Belizeans. We saw people that we haven't seen for a long time, but at the bottom line, it was such a beautiful event. The weekend was a very good weekend for all San Pedranos. The restaurant here at Elvis was packed with Belizeans and Americans, and at the festival we sold out both nights.
Well, in this post-COVID economy, it's really hard to know what to expect, but we were quite surprised in the amount of business that we got in. It was almost exclusively from locals. We had to put on extra flights. Before COVID, we used to travel every hour between San Pedro and Belize Municipal. We had to go back to an hourly service to handle the load, which was very surprising.
I am excited and can't wait for next year to offer our business for the food festival.
I just want the public to know that this was the first time ever that there is a festival where we didn't have to pay for the booth, and they gave us 3 passes for our workers. If you needed any more, well, it was done. We didn't have to worry about signs. They did it for us free, our menus, and they were beautiful. Kudos to BTV and thank you again for the festival.
Man, it was fun, and it was just a great way to expose our business.
The grocery stores were busy, the taxis were busy, the golf cart rentals were all busy. It definitely had a positive effect on the San Pedro economy, which affects everything. As tourism, the money goes in kind of at the top of the economy and then it trickles down, so it's definitely had a positive effect.
In addition to boosting local tourism, the Belize International Music and Food Festival will further contribute to Belize's tourism and creative sectors. The profits from the festival will be used to create the Orange Economy Fund that will bring together Belize's cultural and artistic talents to strengthen the local economy. With this in mind, an investment will be made in 3 music studios in Belize City, Orange Walk, and Dangriga. This will ensure Belizean artists have access to a high-quality studio to enhance their music and raise the level of their craft. An international consulting firm has also been contracted to examine and prepare a strategy to merge Belizean music and tourism for the benefit of the artists and strengthening of our tourism product.
The festival helped me a lot more working with William Neal, very strict and direct with what he wanted, and he made sure that we execute at the end of the day. So today I am a very more confident performer, I must say, after this festival.
In regards with this show, it was another step up for the Belizean artists, not only myself, right? Because what happened is that we did the rehearsals every Sunday at Bird's Isle.
I believe that the preparations that we made to make this festival happen were very crucial, and I think it helped in the sense that we got to work closely with the band and the backup dancers.
For me, what helped me the most was the choreography, because you know, I'm a little stiff sometimes on stage. I don't know no dancer, but practicing a couple times, I missed a couple practice, but even the times that I did win actually helped me to be a little more loose, you know, getting tips from other artists and getting tips from the dancers, and William and Stamp actually helped me a lot.
Yes, it's nice to have international artists on our venues, but I mean, like, we actually built the Belizean segment. So in further future references, I would love to see just Belizean artists.
At one point, I found myself standing there like, wow, I'm really doing this. You know, and the minute I stepped on that stage, the crowd was like, woo.
I was glad to interact with the fans. It was a great experience, and I just hope that from here it just gets bigger and greater.
This enhanced my performances because I haven't performed ever so long, ever since COVID came, right? So I mean, like, it was a stepping game for us again.
Because of the type of show it was, and with the band, and very professional, and I had the chance to sing songs that people might not know, some songs that I really, really like, you know, that isn't for like a jerk fest or those kind of show, like, you know. I had the chance to actually deliver a good performance with dancers and sing on my heart. You know, I captured a different kind of audience.
Them as the promoters, BTB and John Marsden and aforementioned William Neal, Joseph Stamp, all of them who came together and wanted the best for us. One night we felt what it felt to feel the way international artists always, felt. So that experience, I can't even explain how grateful I am, how appreciative I am of that experience, and I can't wait to do it again.
The first Belize International Music and Food Festival was coordinated by the Belize Tourism Board in partnership with the National Institute of Culture and History, Protected Areas Conservation Trust, and the San Pedro Town Council, along with a host of sponsors. Savor the rhythm of Belize at the next Belize International Music and Food Festival.
A small shrimp farm in Ladyville has been awarded an International Aquaculture Stewardship Council certification after meeting exacting industry standards. The certification comes on the heels of investments undertaken to revitalize the shrimp industry in Belize. As News 5 found out, while the industry had collapsed due to disease years ago, Caribbean Shrimp Company had not been affected and continues supplying the local and international markets. This certification is a reflection of its resilience. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
The Caribbean Shrimp Company Limited is the only aquaculture facility in Belize District, and since 1986 is the oldest continuously operating shrimp farm in the country. It produces organically grown shrimp for the local and export markets. In 2022, the company is now certified by the International Aquaculture Stewardship Council.
It's fantastic. I can't even begin to describe how ecstatic I was that we were able to work through this process. This is, to Belize, the longest continuously owned shrimp farm in the country because it's been under one ownership the whole time. And we've been operating the whole time. Maybe at a lesser capacity, depending on how things are going, but we've been operating right through.
Caribbean Shrimp Company Limited is one of 5 companies that were awarded grants through Compete Caribbean to embark on this process, and it was the first to meet all the requirements for certification.
I am Belize's smallest shrimp farm, so for us to be able to work through such an arduous process, and it's only a team of 2, myself and my office manager, Miss Yolanda Cacho. We did all of the documentation provision and everything. ASC sends a control union representative, 2 actually, to come and do an on-site audit. We actually had 3 because they brought a trainee with them as well. And they were here for 2 solid days starting at 6 in the morning. And they looked at every single document, every single process, did a full site inspection to go through the multitude of processes and parameters to make sure that we complied with that process. And it wasn't easy. There are steps along the path where we weren't 100% compliant, but they give you time to show them that you can become compliant.
The company produces 16 shrimps per cubic meter because it does extensive farming as natural as possible.
Some of the other farms do between 200 and 400 shrimp per cubic meter because they do what's called intensive farming. I have what's extensive farming, and I have earthen ponds. I try to keep it as close to nature as possible. You'll see I have mangrove all around the ponds as well, trying to naturally filter the water. I have no mechanized equipment here. It's all natural.
The processing at the plant is completely hands-on, depending on the size that is desired, which can be anywhere up to 9 months for jumbo shrimp. The crustacean is manually harvested, deheaded, hand-selected, hand-quality controlled, hand-packed, and then blast frozen on site.
We invested in packaging. So I now have Made in Belize product packaging specific to the supermarket ready line. I do my shrimp now in 1 pound packages for the supermarket ready crowd. And I also have now added another line which is called ceviche ready, which is a peeled and deveined ready to eat product. So I've focused on market enhancement, looking at where the niches are, and in all the literature, that's where they say that the value of shrimp has held, is that supermarket ready product.
Macintosh is dreaming big as the company shifts its business to focus on export, niche consumer, resort retail markets, and now agritourism. It wants to meet and exceed international standards.
We're lucky because we follow organic protocols. So we raise our shrimp to organic standards. We are in the process of working to see if we can become internationally certified for organic shrimp as well. So I have bigger dreams, but I'm still so excited to get past this first hurdle.
On a good year, the company produces about 100,000 pounds of shrimp. Dwayne Moody for News 5.
The government of Belize's Resilient Rural Belize program is a $40 million 6-year project geared towards enhancing small and medium enterprises in the agro-productive sector. The program began in 2018 when GOB signed loan and grant agreements with the International Fund for Agricultural Development and the Green Climate Fund. One component of the project looks at rehabilitation of agricultural feeder roads, drainage, and irrigation in rural communities. To that end, the Ministry of Economic Development signed a memorandum of agreement with the Ministry of Infrastructure Development for the design of 3 rural roads. We heard from Dr. Osman Martinez, the CEO in the Ministry of Environment, on the signing, courtesy the Press Office of Belize.
Well, the signing of the MOA is very important for the Ministry of Economic Development in order to help to move the project on into implementation. And the reason is because the project has a component of infrastructure development, which is the constructions of roads. And those 3 roads are Valley of Peace, Trio, San Carlos, And so it is very important to note that we do not have the experts in-house, but MIDH do have the engineers. They have the know-how. And so it is important for us to work along with one another. And this is a good example of interministerial cooperation, where we will work with whoever have the strength, and we need it. By having the in-house expertise, we will be able to save several hundred thousands of dollars that can be passed on we can pass on these funds to the beneficiaries, which are the populations that are living below the poverty line and in the rural areas, and who are interested in to work within the productive sector. In addition to that, it will help us to fast track the program, okay? Because now IFAD, who is the implementing partner of this project, has actually give us the no objection for the signing of the memorandum of agreement, so that the Ministry of Infrastructure Development and Housing can help us to move the project a little bit faster.
The Resilient Rural Belize program is scheduled for completion in 2024. We also heard from Victor Espat, the CEO in the Ministry of Infrastructure Development and Housing. He noted that the ministry's team of engineers will design the roads free of cost to the program.
MIDH has committed to partnering with economic development to ensure that these roads are constructed to the highest standard and highest quality. In order to move the project forward, this has been a project that I believe has been in stagnation for quite a while, and so we are behind time and the clock is ticking. And one of the commitments that has come from our ministry is the design component of 3 of these roads. One is the Valley of Peace Road, the Trio Road, and the San Carlos Road. So the Ministry of Infrastructure Development has taken responsibility for the design of these 3 roads. I am happy to say that these designs will be done in-house by a team of our engineers, and that really affords us the opportunity to highlight the ability of our engineers. A lot of times these engineers are sidelined, and these designs are contracted out to foreign firms and other private entities, but at the ministry we've been focusing on capacity building, and so our engineers will be the ones designing these roads, and that will result in significant savings. The MIDH will also contribute these designs, so the project won't have to pay for the designs.
When we return, Gift of Life is back in Belize to assist patients with heart disease. But first, here's the weather forecast with data from the Belize Met Service.
Make your summer better. Over $35,000 in cash and prizes with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how you can enter for a chance to win. Purchase any device, sign up for a smart postpaid, broadband, or VoIP plan, use $50 or more regular prepaid credit, do a SIM swap, or text to the short code. You win 8946. And in the body of the message, enter the number of entries you would like to purchase. Each entry costs only 50 cents.
Don't waste any time. You can be the winner of weekly prizes starting July 1st. All methods give you more chances to win. Airline tickets, overnight stays at numerous resorts, cash prizes, gift certificates, and much, much more. One lucky person will win the grand prize of a $10,000 shopping spree courtesy Court and Smart.
Promotion ends September 16, 2022. So make your summer better by getting in the race to win with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Smart, bringing people together.
Have you been searching for a premier parcel of land in a safe and enchanted community? Well, Pukta Villas subdivision in Orange Walk is your answer. Come and choose your prime home estate at the Pukta Villas Property Expo, Sunday, August 28th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Pukta Villas Park next to Trial Farm Village. This is one event you don't want to miss. There will be amazing promotions on lots and services on that day only. Let us show you the spectacular amenities this master plan subdivision offers. Don't miss out on the complimentary food, drinks, face painting, bouncy house, and much more. Bring your family to an atmosphere of refinement and comfort. For more information, call 610-3182. Pukta Villas, a true residential paradise offering more.
When all hope is lost and the days ahead look grim, we find ourselves looking for someone to shake things up, rescue us, and point us in the right direction. What if the one we've been waiting for has been here all along? Join us for our new series, Troublemaker, as we learn about a man who wasn't afraid to stand up for what's right to make this world a better place.
The Rotary Club of Belize and the Gift of Life program have been providing care to congenital heart disease patients in Belize for over a decade. Annually, the organizations host U.S. doctors in Belize to diagnose children suffering from the disease and to counsel their parents. The team of doctors is currently in country. On Thursday, they held a health clinic in Dangriga. Today, the team was in Belize City. News 5's Paul Lopez visited the Rotary Club, where he spoke with one individual whose life was saved through this mission 17 years ago. Here is that report.
15 years ago, at the age of 17, Shariza Perez underwent a life-saving heart surgery through Rotary Club Belize and the Gift of Life Belize.
I was diagnosed with what is called central supraventricular tachycardia. Tachycardia means the heart is beating too fast. So my symptoms were your heart's supposed to beat on when you're calm between 60 to 100 beats per minute. I was hitting 300. Wow. So I would have sensations here. I'd have feeling faint, feeling discomfort, wanting to use the bathroom, wanting to vomit, pain in my arm. So it was very obvious. And the symptoms, when it started, was one every year. Then it became so often that it was once a week. Laughing caused an attack, being mad caused an attack, being happy caused an attack, being scared caused an attack. So it was so bad that I had to get treated.
That is when American pediatric nurse practitioner Heidi Hess met Shariza. Hess was on a mission with the Rotary Club Belize to diagnose children suffering from congenital heart disease.
When we find a patient who has supraventricular tachycardia, a long name, tachycardia meaning too fast. So we have to take the patient into the hospital and bring them into a special room called a cath lab. And there we have some very complicated computers that actually do a mapping of her heart. So they have to cause the heart to go into the bad rhythm. So then they can map it. and see where the wrong circuit, kind of think of like a short circuit of wiring, and you want to stop it from going the wrong way.
Hess has been returning to Belize to serve since. Sharissa now gives back to her community through the organization.
I'm able to have a normal life. You know, I could play, I could have fun, I could exercise, I could walk, and I could exert my heart. Something that I was not able to do. Something as simple as laughing would cause my palpitations to start. So being able to laugh, being able to be mad, to cry, to be happy, it's insane that simple things like that I couldn't be able to do. So yes.
You've gotten a new lease on laughter.
Definitely, and I take advantage of it.
1 in 100 children suffers from congenital heart disease. Two of the most common forms identified in Belize over the years are ventricular septal defect, also known as a hole in the heart, and heart valve problems. Some cases may be mild and may not require surgery. Pediatric cardiologist Dr. Gul Dadlani shared a couple symptoms.
We have some cases where we're able to tell parents your baby will be able to live a nice, long, healthy life, and they're very excited. Others, sometimes we have to tell them bad news where they have a bad form of congenital heart disease that can't be repaired as well too. For all families, we recommend your child be seen by your pediatrician. If your pediatrician or family doctor hears a heart murmur, or if you're a baby and you have cyanosis, which is blueness around the lips, fast breathing, poor feeding, those can be heart-related symptoms in infants. If you're an older child and you have your chest pain or your fast heart rate, those can also be heart-related signs and symptoms to kind of look out for.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
This morning, the Port of Belize Limited handed over a check to Port Loyola Area Representative Gilroy Usher Sr., as well as a donation of school bags to inspirational promotions. The assistance was provided for back-to-school preparations in Port Loyola. News 5's Isani Cayetano reports.
A vision between a pair of childhood friends a decade ago has manifested into an annual drive that sees dozens, if not hundreds, of primary school students receiving makeovers and stationaries ahead of the new academic calendar in September.
We've been doing this annual back-to-school trimming drive. It's for 10 years. It all started out by my brother, Brian Dina, and one of our childhood friend, Edmund Steen. They had this dream of helping children on Fabers Road specifically because we grew up on Fabers Road. And it started on an upper flat. It was only about 10 children they started out with, and then we extended it to children from children's home, and over the years it has developed.
With face-to-face instructions set to resume in full on September 5th, it is expected that Port Loyola residents, those who live in the vicinity of Fabers Road, will converge on the YMCA compound on Saturday and Sunday to get their hair done. Edmund Steen's older sibling is a volunteer in the yearly initiative.
I'm one of the volunteers that come out and do hair. We also, I think it's more than just doing hair, because when you're over at the child's head, you encourage them, making them feel beautiful. A lot of them come with a lot on their mind, and they leave a little less stressed. So I believe that besides us giving back a haircut, we're also being a motivation for the kids. There's a lot of kids that comes back every year. Why they come back is not only for the bags, they come back to feel beautiful.
Indeed, the effort goes beyond just a trim or a new hairdo. It also serves as an opportunity to build positive self-esteem. There to assist is the Port of Belize Limited. Earlier today, in keeping with its responsibilities as a good corporate citizen, PBL donated to this worthy cause.
Here in Port of Belize, we've always been intrinsically connected to the community, right? And as we've always believed, education is part of the keystone of growth within our community.
Equally involved with assisting disadvantaged families to prepare for the new school year is Gilroy Usher Sr. He has also been giving back to Port Loyola before being elected as its area representative. This morning, he also received a donation of $3,000 to help with his program.
This donation from the Port of Belize, this is nothing new. What happened is that Port of Belize is nearby to the Port Loyola constituency, and therefore we make every effort to work together. This is not the first time, this is the second time they have assisted me with the back to school program. and I look forward to many more collaboration with the Port of Belize to help advance education in the community.
As area representative, Usher has managed to raise $7,000 through political means to meet the back-to-school expenses of his constituents. The financial assistance from Port of Belize brings it to a little over $10,000.
Here in Port of Belize, we're always open. We're always open to help the community in any way we can. And it might be now, it might be later, but we've like I said, anybody or any program that is willing to assist the community, we're always open to help in any way we can.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isana Cayetano.
Just ahead, a teacher's classroom.
¿Sabías que Hospital Galenia modificó los protocolos de seguridad y prevención de salud ante la pandemia de COVID-19 para evitar contagios?
Garantizamos contener a los pacientes que allí estamos manejando y disminuir riesgos de infecciones para el resto del hospital.
Hospital Galenia, más que un hospital.
Download the SmartStream app on the Android Play Store and create your account to get access to movies and stream at home or on the go. Prepaid customers can purchase regular data packages or get a discounted rate on a special SmartStream package by dialing 7737. Postpaid customers will be billed monthly. Never miss a movie again with SmartStream.
Neymar and Messi is standing over this. Messi.
Great entertainment stays with you, and we bring you great entertainment. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
Last week, Sabrina Daly shared the behind the scenes of a seamstress's high season when preparing for a new school year. This week, she went out to meet a teacher preparing her classroom also for the new school year. In just about a week before the reopening of primary schools, teachers are in high gear, either starting the preparation of classrooms or adding finishing touches. Meet teacher JC, who is just about ready to meet her new babies.
On the Bright Side is brought to you by Uno, a brand committed with the future.
My aunt was a teacher. Every year we would assist her in decorating her classroom for the new school year. One year we brought in actual trees to create the illusion of a jungle. Teachers spend enormous amount of time and even money to make sure that their rooms of learning are a safe space for the little ones that will inhabit it each year. We're not talking a couple posters. I'm in teacher JC's classroom today. Actually, I'm among monsters.
The preparation is time consuming. It takes a lot of thought into the theme that you are going to choose. The theme is basically the idea or a topic that your charts are going to be surrounded by. And the most important part of having a classroom theme is that it gives your classroom an identity. It makes the students feel welcome and it fosters learning in the classroom.
JC Lee Powell has been teaching for 11 years. She's quirky, bubbly, and has all the qualities needed for the cohort of students that she takes on every September. Teacher JC, as they call her, is an Infant 1 teacher, and she knows all the tricks it takes to keep her students engaged and ready to learn.
I won't say we are clowns, but we have to do a lot. We have to be very animated I like to tell my friends that when I am talking, I use my hands, or I would try to explain something in different ways, and they would often tell me, you know what, we're not your babies, you know, we're not your babies. So you have to change the tone of your voice when you're reading a story. If you are coming to another character, or if you're the part of the story, you need to go louder, or you need to whisper, then it's very animated for teachers. When it comes to the monsters, I know that sometimes students are afraid of monsters, and automatically they think about something scary. I don't want them to have that fear. I want to teach my students to be brave and to be courageous.
Summertime is critical for teachers. The first month is spent cleaning out their classrooms and creating a blank canvas for the new themes they will incorporate for the upcoming school year. This is also what is considered their unofficial holiday. The next 4 weeks, however, are spent in camps, attending workshops and preparing classrooms for the new school year. Themes do change occasionally. Regardless, teachers invest a lot of personal time and money every year for the love of the job.
Teaching is a job of love. It's a labor of love. It's a job where once you get into it, you know, you get so attached to your students, you get so attached to, you know, seeing them coming to school all smiling and excited for the first day of school. And so for that reason, then teachers go into pocket anywhere from $800, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 to fix up the classroom for the first day of school. And that's just for the first day of school, because you have to have your classroom in a way that when the students come to the classroom, they will see that, you know, wow, I want to be here, I want to stay here.
Over at Burrell Boom Methodist Primary School, class preparation is handled a little differently. Additional manpower has made the work lighter because the staff would come together for the lower division.
It's not really a load for us because here at Burrell Boom, we are a family and we work together. And so especially at the lower division, the teachers pool together and we would choose a classroom to start with. So we would, for example, we started with my class and all of us came together and we decorated my class. And then next we're going to move to the other infant one until we are finished with all of the class. What we try to do is we will try to finish at least by this week so that next week, which is our last week before school reopens, we would be free and kind of refresh ourselves before we come back to school. Because sometimes teachers tend to be working up to probably the Sunday before school opens, and then Monday they're tired. Okay, so this is my classroom management strategy. It is something that I have been doing for the past 4 years, and it is very effective, so I use it every year.
Time management is critical in making sure that everything is prepared for the kids' return. Teacher JC especially has a heavier workload since she has made a business out of her classroom creativity. She makes her charts from scratch, and not only do the kids love them, other teachers do too. So much so that they want to buy them from her.
When I am making my charts, I always think about the impact that I want to have on my students. I always think about things that I know will attract them or would stimulate their creativity and their imagination. And so I put a lot of thought into my classroom charts. And the whole purpose of my small business is to assist teachers who might not be as creative as they would want. Maybe they have an idea, but they can't bring it to light. And so that was my part in helping them.
How can you tell if the presence of a teacher has moved a child beyond learning materials? Well, teacher JC has gained a couple admirers over the years. And if you ask any parent, it's not difficult to spot a good teacher. Nayani Dawson can tell you that much. Her son was in teacher JC's class.
When break time, them pick, no one go have break. Them babies are sit down in a classroom and she have to go like, go babe, go have break. And I could say this because honestly, I'm an active parent. And any teacher would honestly say that, like, when it comes to my boys and school, listen, I am a parent that I want sack race during sports day. I want to cheer you on. Listen, I'm the biggest cheerleader, #1 supporter when it comes to my boys and school. And all the teachers then get that same attitude from me when they come to school. But teacher JC being Shane's first teacher at primary school, I believe Shane will live on with teacher JC.
1, 2, 3. Happy birthday, teacher!
Looking on the bright side, I'm Sabrina Daly.
On the Bright Side was brought to you by Uno, a brand committed with the future.
That's the sound of fuel efficiency. Every day, every time, I choose Uno Fuels powered with Dynamax. Uno, a brand committed with the future.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Adeline Apollonia. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.